Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We are back with the Ted Show. Super excited to have my traveling friend here, Ravi Abuvala, is on the show. Did I do it, Ravi? Ravi.
That was perfect. Oh, you
All
got nailed right on
right.
the
See, nobody ever says that to me, so I appreciate that.
head.
I love this topic from law school dropout to millionaire, why I decided to quit, which is not exactly what you expected. So I can't wait to learn more. You've got a great setup. You are now in my home state. Well, not really my home state, but where I live. But I'm very excited for you to be on the show. Welcome, Ravi. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, Ted. Thanks so much for having me on here. I am absolutely thrilled. Yeah, it'll be an interesting story. You're right. It is a little bit of, you don't really hear people saying they decided to quit, and that's the reason why it worked out. But I'm sure we'll dive into that in a little bit here. But
Correct. So
absolutely
I want
stoked
to
to be a
dive
part
into
of it.
that, but first, the audience loves origin story. We want to know about you. We want to know about law school and dropout and all that good stuff and what led you down this path. So give them a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, I'll keep it really tight, but essentially, like whole life, I was going to be a lawyer. That was the plan. That was the goal. I had watched every episode of Law and Order out there, and I thought that I knew what it was about. And that's what society was telling me to do. Is what my parents were telling me to do. Just take the safe routes. And I ended up graduating college, and I ended up a year study for law school because that's what you do. You take the LSAT and you study for it. And during that year, my dad was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So I end
Wow.
up taking care of him, going to chemo and radiation 5 days a week. And while I'm there, I'm studying for law school. And very long story short, about a year later, I took the test. I got into my dream law schools, actually 10% of law schools in the nation. And he began in remission. And I just decided that, that whole experience kind of showed me that life was a little fragile and that maybe I should be going after things that maybe I'm interested in instead of what other people are interested in for me. And I
Yes.
decided to cancel all my applications, quote unquote, drop out, and Google how to make money online. And that was like my first taste of being an entrepreneur as by yourself. And then obviously, I had
We
quite a
lost
journey
you
since then.
too. So your dad's in remission.
Yeah. So he's in remission for almost 3 years now.
Thank God. All right. But what a turning point for you. So you go from, but did you always know what you wanted to do, not what you were told to do? Did you had the path where that's what it seemed like it would be. You're going to be a
No,
lawyer.
no,
That's it.
by no means. It's funny, it's a great, homage to anybody else that's watching this right now is that like I had no business background, no marketing background, no sales background. I mean, like I just was going to be a lawyer. So there's no reasons why I had to learn anything else. And I was able to learn it all online and by coaches and by mentors. But no, there was a really great book I read called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson.
Yeah, I love
And
that book.
I was like, I was like, why am I doing this? It's for other people. I'm not doing it for myself. And that was kind of a wake up call in conjunction with my dad's cancer.
All right, so it's one thing to be motivated to not do the thing that you know you're not supposed to do. It's another thing to find your purpose, find your what.
Oh no, I lost him. I'm going to take over the show now, guys. Let's see here.
I'm still here. I'm hoping
There
Ravi's
you are.
still there. I don't know what's happening today.
That's me. I'm here, Ted.
Good. All right. So yeah. So how did you go from that? Because I think a lot of people realize the things they don't want to do, but they don't know how to. They don't know how to define or discover what they do want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. So it's funny. And my mentor tells me, he says, no one gives a what about your passions until you have $5 million in your bank account. So it's not like I was like, all right, I'm not going to do law school. I'm going to start an advertising agency or I'm going to start a business acceleration company. I was just like, okay, let me just Google how to make money online. And the easiest thing I could find was advertising. Like a service-based business, there's no products, there's not a lot of costs up front, and you just got to spend your time. And if you don't have any money, probably got a lot of time. And so for me, I was like, all right, well, let me learn the service-based business world. And so for me, I wanted to work from my computer, work from wherever I was. And that was like digital marketing was kind of the aspect of it. So realistically, I actually just bought into a program online. I paid, you think all these people are scammers, but I ended up paying them some money and I closed a deal from it. And that was all the justification that I needed, right? I was like, okay, someone's willing to, I mean, I didn't even know what I was doing. And someone handed me money and I was like, wow, if I actually invested some time and energy inside of it, it might actually become, a viable business.
All right, so you found your business. But it's one thing to find it, as you deep dive into it, how did you know that that's what you wanted to do? And we're talking, obviously, scalingwithsystems.com is Ravi's URL. But I want to talk about what that actually means. It's one thing to find the system. It's one thing to make the first sale. It's another thing to make it kind of your passion and your journey.
Yeah, so the original company was actually called Prospect Social, and that was my advertising agency. From there, first 8 months, we did about $1,000 in revenue, about $3,400 in revenue. It was not impressive at all, right? I went from like dropping out of law school, being this like hotshot lawyer, to working in an Italian restaurant, making a few $100s a month. It was pretty a wake up call, you could say. And I thought business wasn't for me, but then I invested in this mentor, and I learned about like delegation and systems and lead generation. And after I implemented that stuff, I had my first $10,000 a month. Then a few months later, we had our first $100,000 a month. And that's when I was like, okay, this is viable. This stuff actually works if you follow this formula. And it wasn't that I was passionate about advertising. I wasn't passionate. And I'll be honest with you guys. Like it wasn't that I didn't wake up and be like, I can't wait to advertise for real estate agents. It's just what I was doing. Right. But what it did, Ted, was it led me to a lot of people reaching out to me saying, hey, how did you do this? Like, how did you start this business? We all both started at the same time. How are you traveling? Because I was living in Colombia, South America at the time. Like, how are you doing that and running a business? And so some of my closest friends, I just like, look, you need these systems, you need these scripts, whatever it is. And they just started telling other people about it and telling other people about it. And next thing I know, I got people banging down my door to learn this stuff. And so, but I really enjoyed it. This scaling with systems, we teach entrepreneurs how to scale to multi-seven figures, established business owners how to scale to multi-seven figures. And like, I really loved it. I was doing it for free for a while. Like, I was like, don't even pay me. Let me just see the results. And I think that's when you're doing something you really,
that's
really
when
love.
Know you're doing what you're supposed to do because you have such a passion for it. I think people get confused. Systems make sense to me. What does scaling mean?
Yeah, so scaling for me is pretty much like growing in revenue with capital efficiency. So definition is you're seeing month over month growth in the double digits, but you're also keeping your costs at or lowering your costs as you scale. So I see a lot of people talk about 7-figure companies, 8-figure companies, but their profit margins are 3%, 5%. When I was running my advertising agency, we were high 6 figures, but I was making more than a lot of the 7-figure companies that I knew because their profit margins were so low because there's so much waste in a company. And the way that we do it and we teach people to do it is with incredible capital efficiency. So I'm proud to say my 7-figure businesses all operate at 50% profit margins. So like we're able to keep, because Warren Buffett says it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. So the idea behind it is like not only are you growing and scaling this company, but you're doing it in a smart way that allows you to retain a lot of the profits from it.
Scaling, I think too, when I think of it, I think that a lot of people don't know how to grow with their growth. And so they get caught up. Maybe they realize they had their first $10,000 month, and then all of a sudden the growth, they haven't planned for it. They haven't scaled it. They haven't figured out how to grow with that. And then they begin to get ticked off clients and ticked off people because they can't deliver on the things that they normally would because they didn't plan for it.
Yeah, it's kind of scary too when you think about it, but it's like that's the other downside of success is that like if you're not prepared, like you just said a second ago, Ted, then you could be like, I see it all the time. I've actually worked with other companies that were doing so well that I do believe that whenever I had signed on with them that like they could deliver the thing that they promised me, but because they were just so focused on getting more people in and it was like they're on this high, this adrenaline, they focused less and less on the actual client fulfillment side of it. And yeah, you nailed it on the head. It's happened to me dozens of times before. And sure, anybody here that's a business owner will say like, there are times when you're in massive growth modes that some of that stuff does suffer. But I think a sign of a really great business owner is like, who can handle it, who takes care of the problems, who faces them head on, and then who just sweeps it under the rug by just trying to close more and more deals.
That's what happens. It's exactly what happens, is that you're trying to get more and more deals, and you're not paying attention to that foundation, that what built you, what got you there.
Yep.
And you forget the practices that you put in place to start it to begin with, to make it successful. Or you get so caught up in the growth that you forget that those systems need to be tweaked and adjusted and added to in order for you to continue the growth that you want to do. I have worked with and for companies where they don't grow with the growth, they don't scale it. They've got all this incredible growth, but a lot of ticked off people, a lot of angry customers. And I've had people say, "But I was one of your first people who believed in you. And because you didn't scale it properly, because you didn't set it up properly, you've forgotten what that's like and how impactful those people were."
Yep, I could not agree more. And we all kind of fall prey to the, money greed aspect of it, and just like you want to close more deals. So nobody here is perfect, not me by a long shot. But I will say that, like, especially if you're in any kind of subscription business or recurring revenue or whatever it is, and you're living in a world where, buyers are incredibly aware now. They can easily just Google your name, your company name, reviews, and just see anything about it. And I've dealt, even in the past 90 days myself, I've dealt with, I was just thinking today, how many bad businesses that I've honestly dealt with in the past 90 days that just like could care less if you're a paying customer, a stranger, their mother-in-law, it's all the same to them. And it just hurts my heart. But on the other side of it, Ted, when you have a great business, and someone has a great experience with your company, it's just like you get to just stay. As long as you're not terrible, I think in today's day and age, you're doing better than 99% of the other businesses out there.
Communication, right? Like I love what you said, because I've dealt with a lot of really, really bad businesses. And, granted that 2020 and trying to pivot and figure out what you're doing is a whole new world. However, the basics of customer service never change. And so what happens is people forget. I've dealt with so many businesses. I'm like, I've brought you so much business.
Yep.
And yet you don't care that the quality of the product that you're delivering or the service you're delivering isn't up to the standard it was. Well, you can't live like that in business for too long, unless you're constantly like a locust trying to find a new crop to eat up.
Which is exhausting.
It's exhausting.
You can't run a business that way. There's no way you can run a long-term business. And I've done that before. Like, once again, I'm not perfect. I'm not preaching to the choir. Yeah. Like, I've done it before, but Ted knows what he's talking about. And it's just like, it's exhausting. It's exhausting after a certain point. If you're continuously looking for new business and like you're just burning bridges. And obviously the strongest companies out there that you see there, Netflix, Amazon, they all have subscription-based models where even if you don't have a subscription-based model, you should have something where if you went back to one of your current customers and you said, "Hey, would you be willing to pay me money again?" At least 90% of them would be like, "Yeah, I'd love it." Because obviously you're going to have a few percentage, but 90% of them would be like, "Yeah, I'll pay you money again if you ever deliver this value." Like, that is how you know that you're actually doing what you're promising people.
So tell people what you do.
Yeah, so obviously I have the advertising agency on one side, Prospect Social, but the reason we're on this show here is Scaling with Systems. And we essentially take businesses, it's almost like a business in a box kind of, but we take business owners that are already doing 6 figures a year, either low or mid 6 figures a year, and we pretty much give them the assets they need to scale to 7 figures a year. So it could be sales funnels. We help construct sales funnels for them so they're able to, turn strangers into paying customers without being involved in the process. It could be sales team members, actually training, finding, hiring, and interviewing sales team members. Or it could be delegation on the lead generation side. So paid advertising, virtual assistants. We give our clients fully trained virtual assistants from the Philippines that know how to spin up business out of nowhere for them. And so it's like a done with you program. We're pretty much saying, hey, here's where your bottlenecks are on the business. For a lot of our clients, it's lead generation. And we say, these are the exact steps and the exact things you need to remove yourself from it so you're able to hit that kind of high 6 or even 7 figure a year mark.
So who's a good, and I know this isn't an infomercial, but I'm fascinated by this because I think it's so important when you have a business like you have the people that go, well, that's outside of my budget, or I'm not there yet, so I wouldn't be a good client for Ravi. what do you say to those people? Who's a good person for you or a good business for you?
Yeah, so we've had people that have just an idea for a business, and we have like our first module inside of our program is we talk about product market fit. So how do you sell something before you even built it, and how do you make sure it's something that people want? So you're able to be profitable from day one, like I said earlier, having those massive profitability levels instead of just being like 1%, 5%, 10% profitable. But our ideal customer is a higher ticket service-based business that's doing anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 a year. They have a proven offer, meaning that they have case studies. It works, so it actually delivers what people are promising, like what we were talking about a second ago. You're not scamming people, or you're not just like so focused on lead generation and then you don't deliver results. But you have a higher ticket service-based business. Could be advertising, could be your website designer, could be your coach, could be your consultant. We've worked with home renovation guys, worked with real estate wholesalers, and you're in a service-based business and you're in a few $100,000 a year and you're just looking, I've been at $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year for 2 years now, 3 years now, 4 years now. I'm just relying on referrals and the occasional, inbound lead. How do I start tapping into that cold traffic, paid advertising, outbound messages that I see some of these other companies do? And we essentially teach them how to leverage that so they can scale.
How did you shift during the pandemic? I love to ask this question of business owners because so many people got furloughed, so many businesses lost their basic ability to do business in the way that we had always done it before. How did you guys shift? And then did you kind of incorporate that into how you're helping your client base?
Yeah, it's an awesome question, Ted. So it's funny, right when the pandemic happened, just a virtue of luck, I read a great book by Ryan Holiday called The Obstacle is the Way. And I pretty much figured out from day one, I was like, I'm going to turn this problem into a solution for us. And I'm going to view it that way. And so for us, a few of the big things we did is, number one, other advertisers and a lot of people out there that were promoting stuff, they stopped when COVID happened. We were able to hit the pedal on the metal and start capturing eyeballs and capturing attention at a fraction of the cost of what we were paying pre-COVID. Second thing that we knew was that we do all of our program is online. We hold a few events a year, but everything we teach, coaching calls, one-on-one calls, the program itself is all taught online. Pre-COVID, obviously it's a large market, but people are still, hey, I need to meet somebody in person. I want to learn from a school. I want to learn from here. And now it's like people are adapting more and more to be able to be comfortable just like this on a video conference call, having no issue with it whatsoever. So it played in our favor in that way. And then the third and final thing was that I realized that if we could solve the problem for our clients of how to still make money during COVID, even though the government's shutting you down, financials are troubling, whatever it is, that we could help a lot more people than we are currently doing right there, right? When the smartest entrepreneurs in the world, when you see massive problems, like you should get excited because you're like, wow, if I can solve this problem, I'm going to make a lot of money from doing this. I'm going to impact a lot of lives. And so for us ourselves, we pretty much figured out, whether it was gyms or my brother owned some restaurants or, real estate agents, we taught them and gave them the tools that they could still sell or meet or nurture or speak to their leads virtually, still make deals, still make sales. And then even when some of the states started opening back up, a lot of our clients didn't even open their stores back up, not because they couldn't, but because they're like, okay, I can do online personal training classes. I don't have to have a gym. I don't have to pay a personal trainer. I can do it from my room. I don't have to endanger anybody. And my profit margins are astronomical. My scalability is astronomical. So it actually totally transformed the way a lot of people did business.
I feel like that's exactly what happened. I know it. People realized, all right, I can pivot. Excuse me. I can pivot. And I think it's so important that if you didn't jump on that bandwagon, that that it's not too late to pivot. Because I think a lot of people are like, well, I didn't get in the beginning when everybody else was pivoting. Well, it doesn't matter. What are you doing now? We're all used to this and Zoom and every other particular Teams, all the platforms where we're all communicating and doing business virtually. Why not add that or make that part of your business? And it's not too late. We're only technically really almost 9 months in. It hasn't been as long as it feels.
Yeah, it feels a lot longer. Yeah,
it feels like forever.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do, what you're saying is so important. I think you just have to pivot. So if you didn't pivot in the beginning, okay, now you can still pivot. Don't let your business go under or think that you can't ride this wave, because it's not really a wave anymore. It's just the new normal, whatever that looks like. And so I think it's so important. So how do people reach you? What's the best way for people to reach out? I'm cognizant of your time. I know you have a
Yeah,
3 o'clock.
no, I appreciate it, Ted. Thank you so much for having me on here. Everybody that watched it or is watching the replay, I appreciate all of your value. I hope you guys got something out of it for sure. Easiest way to find me is any one of the social media channels. Type in, you can see my name right here, Ravi Abuvala, RAVIABUVALA, or go to scalingwithsystems.com. Actually, if you go to scalingwithsystems.com/TED, there's going to be a free course that we put out there. We created a separate landing page, a program, totally free. You guys don't pay a dime, and you can get access to a lot of the foundational stuff that I was talking about on this call about messaging and reaching out to cold traffic and audiences, and you'll be able to learn a lot there as well.
Did you see what he did there, guys? So smart, so smart. Listen, you want to reach out to him. Obviously, he's an open book, and he's been where you have been, maybe in a different spot, but he still has realized that what he planned his whole life wasn't what it was going to be, and you were able to shift and pivot even before COVID. So kudos to you, my friend. I think what you do is amazing. I want you guys to reach out to Ravi. I've tagged him. Go to scalingwithsystems.com or any of the social media. Thank you so much for being on the show. Fascinating stuff. I'd love to have you come back. We target a lot of the same audiences, and I think we can come up with some really cool stuff for them.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ted. I appreciate having me on.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being flexible. You guys reach out to Ravi Abuvala with scalingwithsystems.com. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.